Welcome to the Cheeky Champ Airshow, a low close display demonstrating creative flying, balloon bursting and balloon shooting. Back to the halcyon days of airshow flying in the 20s and the 30s. In 1946, Spartan Executive is 72 years old. And just in the middle of the runway, we have Tim's able assistant just preparing to launch some balloons. But Tim's showing you the capabilities of this lovely 72-year-old Aeronca champ. It's powered by a 65 horsepower engine, which in car terms nowadays is ridiculously small. But he does do some amazing creative flying with it. And interesting on his display notes, Tim is the only display pilot in the UK with aerial marksmanship on his display authority. That's pretty unique. It's interesting, Tim has an amazing flying pedigree. He's the latest in a line of family pilots hailing from an idyllic farm in the heart of the Cotswolds. He's been flying for more than 40 years and has had a PPL for over 30. Charles Scott was an aviation star of the 1920s. He was personal friends with Bert Hinkler, Amy Johnson and Charles Kingford Smith. In 1924 and 1925, Scott displayed at Wembley at the Hendon Air Tattoos. Then in 1929, in 1934, Scott, with Tom Campbell Black, entered and won the England to Australia air race in the DH.88 Comet GACSS, which hopefully we're going to see displayed for you later this afternoon. That very aeroplane. Grosvenor House. Now, here it goes. Oh, close. But no prizes for that one, Tim. Right, so Tim's dropped that little banner behind him. I should think that the aeroplane flies a lot better now. And we'll continue with this short performance. But that was a good, unusual display, and another first for the formation team of the display in front of you. Here we go, 3 chipmunks of the Red Sparrows.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you look up to the skies, you can see the Red Sparrows there doing formation. Now you might say to yourself, well, it's only 3 aeroplanes flying around in the sky. If you've actually tried to do formation, you'll see how difficult that actually is. That formation is being led by the first aircraft. So Nigel in his chipmunk there, he's leading all 3 aeroplanes. The other pilots have got their eyes glued to Nigel. So whether they're in big formation or echelon formation or line of stern, they'll be looking at points on the aircraft to the side or in front of them. So it's not. So here they come now, in their 3, to give you a nice pass down the crowd line.
Right, the Chipmunk is a venerable old aeroplane. It's been around a long time. I wonder how many air cadets in the audience today had their very first flight in a Chipmunk as an air cadet. If you did, stand up, give me a wave. Hey, loads of you, well done. Fantastic little aeroplanes. Over 1,000 were produced in the UK, although it's a Canadian design. And they flew mainly with the RAF, but also with the Royal Navy and the Army. They even built a few in Portugal. They're still flown all over the world. They have a massive flying club. And the Chipmunk Owners Club in the UK has regular meetings, and there's probably 60 or 70 of those around. It had its coming up for its 70th anniversary, and last time for the 60th anniversary we put out a big 6-0 in the sky over Old Warden. I'm sure 7-0 is coming up.
You can remember, he had got his licence back at Ipswich Airport way back in the 1980s, and now he's head of training down at Earlscone Airfield.
Number 2 in Sparrow 2 is Clive Denny. The name as a pilot is probably well known. He's a fairly well-known warbird pilot, flies Spitfires and Hurricanes from Britain heading elsewhere. But Clive is also operator of those. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here comes the big break. Okay, that ends the sequence of the Red Sparrows. They'll break Clive Denny in number 2. Peter Hardesty in number 3. Give them a big round of applause as they park up. Peter Borchert flying this fantastic aeroplane, which he built himself. It's not called the Super Beech for nothing. Earlier this year I had the pleasure of completing an air-to-air photo shoot with this aeroplane. Had it alongside for about 10 or 15 minutes with the smoke system working beautifully, with Peter flying lovely, and the pictures were great on a lovely clear blue sky day like today. And it really is a pretty spectacular aeroplane up close. Once it comes back in, have a good look. It took Peter about 5 years to build from a set of plans. He's an engineer originally, but he changed his life a number of years ago when he went into architectural design. And thank goodness he's kept his engineering skills up, because this was not an easy aeroplane to build, but the result is a perfect aeroplane. Peter's been around this display scene since early last year with this aeroplane, but this is the first time he's been at Little Gransden. But talking with him earlier today, he was saying how much he was looking forward to flying around the interesting display line. Will be performing at well over 200 miles an hour. Peter's aircraft is one of only 3 that have been built in the UK, and it will only certainly go to now the UK air display circuit. Peter's not new to air display flying. He was a member of the Yakovlev's team flying a Yak 50 very many years ago, and has since displayed a number of World War II aircraft as well as a number of other high performance aircraft. The other interesting number about today is on lots of these manoeuvres, Peter will be pulling up to 6G. But if you take Peter's 13 stone weight, 6G will mean that the weight actually on his body in the cockpit will be 78 stone. Well, you can imagine the aircraft. Now the first thing to note is a complete lack of smoke. This aeroplane doesn't have any smoke system fitted, and Peter's will be demonstrated standing little aerobatics from some of the aeroplanes later. But what this aeroplane is capable of is grace. Beautiful, graceful routines. And hopefully you all can see there, eating your ice lollies, drinking your cold drinks, watching and enjoying. Peter's a consultant neurosurgeon who works at Addenbrooke's Hospital. He's been there for over 30 years. And Peter describes many similarities between aerobatic flying and neurosurgery. He says it's all about planning, practice and doing no harm. I couldn't put it better myself. Ladies and gentlemen, a public announcement. Would Una Phelan please come to the crow's nest as soon as possible, please? Una Phelan to the crow's nest, please. And that aircraft has recently been restored by a Preservation Society in Derby, who hope to have it flying again later on in the year. Right, here we come for our first approach of the turbulent team. That's Deb's. At this point, the team should move from line of stern back into box before coming back round towards the crowd. And there you see them shuffling around, moving out from line of stern into their box form before they come back. That was quite a neat change.
And there they go, breaking out. Cameras at the ready.
Wasn't that gentle? Very, very gentle. And now the... Yeah, there goes the first one. Oh, he's missed miles away. Oh, actually not bad. Oh, no, not so good. Come on, four, you can do it. Oh, very close. Repositioning for another run. Oh, the bombs away, bombs away, bombs away. Not very close though. Oh, yes, number two.
There he's running in, is he going to get it?
Yay! That's better. It's on a bigger, yeah, when he gets it. Is he going to? No, it's probably a
he's lining up.
Oh, close. No prizes for that. High, but the. Oh no, he's going for it. He's going for it. He's going for it. Oh, that must have bounced off the rim. One. Does he have it inside? He's going for it. Power's going on. Full power.
There we go.
Oh! Just missed it. Right, that's the balloon bursting finished. The aeroplanes are getting into this aeroplane, WG655. It's built to 17 tanks. It's delivered to Anfield for initial storage before delivered to number 78 Monday by Spartan Executive. But it didn't stay there very long. It was purchased again by Hawkers in 1957. and converted to a target towing aircraft as a T-20S before being sold to the German Ministry of Defence. It's as a target towing airplane alongside German Sea in November 1975 before being stored at Cologne. It later came back to the Royal Navy historic flight where it was repoed but suffered an engine failure in 1990 and technically was written off. But aeroplanes like this are never written off. Initially went to New Zealand. The aircraft's being flown today by Buchon, very well-known warbird display pilot, with, would you believe this, listen carefully, 25,000 hours. With at least 6,000 of them in tailwheel aeroplanes, which he describes as the most fun. Ladies and gentlemen, just preparing to go is the Cessna Caravan for our parachuting display, which will come up shortly, and as it does so, the DH.88 Comet makes its first pass with Dodge Bailey at the controls. This beautiful old aeroplane, beautiful British two-seat twin-engine aircraft developed by de Havilland, specifically to participate in the 1934 England Australia McRobertson Air Race from the United Kingdom to Australia, which incidentally it won. 3 Comets were produced for the race, all for private owners, at a special discounted price of £5,000 per aircraft. This one, GACSS, named Grosvenor House, emerged as the winner. Utterly beautiful lines. Wonderful win. Flying it today is Roger Dodge Bailey, joined the Air Force as a pilot in 1969, and flew to start with the Chipmunk that we saw earlier. He's been through a variety of RAF pieces. lovely topside show for the photographers on that run. There's just some passes straight down the line to give you photographers an opportunity of grabbing a few pictures of it. Going back all those years, can you remember that wonderful soundtrack and Hot Lips Hurahan running riot in the operating theatres? And the Bill 47 certainly, in my opinion, was the star of the show. Meanwhile, Dodge back in the beautiful Comet Racer. Interesting, after it won the race to Australia in 1934, it was shipped back to England and then to and from the Cape. This aeroplane has been an absolute winner as far as British aviation is concerned. Lovely topside pass from Dodge back in the Comet. For brakes and taxiway. Beautiful sound from those engines.
Last Corporal Hurst, they're now having conducted their control checks, are now getting their canopies down hard, fast and low. I must remind you, ladies and gentlemen, the canopies being used today are incredibly small. Equivalent, in fact, of having a handkerchief overhead of you. Those canopies are. Now I must remind you once again, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's difficult to fly a canopy such as that. Try doing it with a big sail underneath you, which is affecting his pull. As he now bears the canopy, making it today, Private Alex Goodman, the only full-time female member of the team from the Adjutant General Squad, as she makes her final approach. She's going to come down to landing, and if you bring your eyes to the sky, ladies and gentlemen, you should see Sergeant with a big round of applause as he meets his IG believers. That's what's about for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Making his final set-up now, he's spotting the DZ cross. Sure, it was landing into wind, but it will be what wind we do have today, ladies and gentlemen. He must attempt to slow that canopy before making his landing. What an absolutely spectacular photograph that would make. And he's making his final descent, decreasing that altitude, making his final turn towards the cross as he makes his way towards the DZ, straightening himself up before flying his canopy. As you see the 2,000 square foot regimental flag of Sergeant Frank Miller being flown for you here today. Absolutely spectacular, ladies and gentlemen. I must impress on you yet again how difficult it is to fly a flag of that size. It's effectively been a boat sail underneath it. Listen to the big wave, there he is. You can hear you.
which brings us safely back to Earth. For the comradeship which draws us together, we give thanks to Almighty God. Amen. And of his Son, Jesus Christ, and the blessing of God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, be among you and remain with you this day and evermore.
Survey 947. So, Lake History.
Painstakingly put together by Hawking Restoration. There's very few people realise over 1 million bits go into the heart of Hawking, and each one hand engineered. So there's a labour of love, but to see it up there.
Indeed, and I made comment earlier during your display in the pits that part of the routine you're practicing was to get a feel for the display that you would hope to fly next year in the Hurricane yourself. How are you coming on with that?
Yeah, I was very fortunate to have Paul Bonham as my mentor, and we decided to design the pits display purely around the capabilities of a Hurricane. So what you saw today is pretty much what you're seeing the Hurricane do at the moment, because Hurricane isn't really an aerobatic plane, so you have to treat them very much differently to pits.
Very, very much.
It's battered by 600 knot winds. They're not going to particularly like that.
It's interesting that the reconstruction of this aeroplane is the subject of a 6-part documentary which is nearing completion, and information can be found on a website at Hurricane 5.
Visited them and discovered that in fact somewhat bittersweet. Sprick was awarded his Knight's Cross from Hitler directly. We saw photos of that. He was shooting his 20th plane down, and this happened to be the 20th plane he shot down. The plane is famous for all the wrong reasons.
Oh, the plane will be famous for many years to come, and hopefully you too when you're flying it. But we should also add Neil Oatman flying the aeroplane today, who's been around. Neil's been flying very many years. Started off after he watched Piper Pawnee crop dusters near his home, as well as helicopters flying. But he's now a senior training captain with a large European airline, and his passion's always been flying interjets. two aeroplanes, whereas the brown one, flown by Mark Jeffries, who's now coming at us. Yes, he is coming at us and into his solo display, has got the much bigger Pratt & Whitney R985 Wasp Junior engine with about 450 horsepower, and the significant increase in power to weight ratio makes it much more of an airshow performer. These aeroplanes were built back in with pesticide and fertiliser, so they had another life. They got dusty. Others still want to service fuel planes, aerobatic displays, woodworking, baritone and skywriting. Out in China and Mongolia last year, a couple of Stearmans were showing them out as a wing walking display with two young ladies on top. Every day, twice a day in the desert, and they sounded and looked absolutely beautiful. The Stearman's also been a film star in an iconic movie, Mark Linney, flying the smaller engine version. Mark served with the RAF for 16 years, flying fast jets, including the Tornado and the Harrier, and also flew the Hawk Central Flying School as a solo display pilot in 1990. He left the Air Force and began commercial flying on the Boeing 757, 747 and 747-400. Currently Mark is captain on an Airbus A340 or an A360 and has over 10,000 hours to his name. Mark's been flying on the civilian airshow scene for some time now. He's displayed everything from the Chipmunk, the Hunter, Strike Master, structure. This particular aeroplane, registered GOLEG, is powered by an Allison V1710, as there is currently no single working Clibble engines available. Both the Clibble and the Allison engine, both liquid-cooled V12 engines, will have very similar dimensions and power. So the aeroplane with this engine still looked exactly as it would in its original days. Oleg moved to the UK from Germany in 2015 and was placed on the UK register. Since that time it's been displayed at a number of major air shows, both UK and Europe. Its high speed and great ability demonstrate how effective the aircraft design was and illustrates the problem of the sailing glide as young as 16 before moving to powered aircraft, where he learned how to paint PPL ashore at the age of 70. He's owned various light aircraft over the years, operating them mainly from grassed airstrips and doing his own maintenance under the watchful eye of an engineering friend, which has given him a good knowledge of aircraft ownership and operations. All the lighter World War I aircraft are the book specimen during the display season. VTOL engine in the yoke makes a beautiful sound. And with that lovely wing shape, presents very well to the bird. Started flying with chipmunks, tiger moss, the tips of the brilliant engine. Still on Boeing 737 with PMI, and has been flying for various operators across the airports, as well as his own pet special. He now works for Dakota and British Airways, and spends the rest of his time flying for operators. Down rear fuselage, bubble canopy cockpit, which had the 1490 the aircraft the control tower at the moment. A couple of items that will be shown on the display. The Yale and the T6 Harvard. Ladies and gentlemen, the last pass from the B-50 Mustang. Looking and sounding like a T6 with the same lineage. Created from the DH.16 advanced trainer in 1935, and the Yale in 19, powered only by a 400 horsepower one-roll engine. And although they did later ones did have a 450 horsepower engine, still comparatively low power compared with the T6 Harvard, which you'll see in a few minutes. The other thing about it is, it's got fixed undercarriage, so its performance could never be described as slow. The NA-64 was originally built for the French Army de l'Air and the Air Naval between 1939 and 1940, and they ordered 230 between them. Of these, 118 had been delivered before France surrendered to the Germans after the Battle of France. The NA-16s captured from the French when they were overrun were used by the German Luftwaffe for all types of flight training, from basic flying to advanced fighter tactics. There are a number of photographs in existence of the Yale in 1440. It's carried by the bigger 450 horsepower engine. This aeroplane left the Canadian Air Force service and was auctioned off and has made its way through various displays. It was ferried to Duxford in 1999 and started a major assault on model T6J. It was built in the United States. Military service was demobbed, was acquired. It's been through a number of hands, shall we say, over the years. But in 2014, decided to paint it in a new colour scheme for 2015. need wasp junior engines in formation. Whoa, we do pull out the stop inside, complete with his invasion stripes from the D-Day celebrations, where Nick Houghton's Beech 18 was used as a camera platform for lots of the photographers recording the event to and from France. Beech 18 dates back from 1937 when it made its first flight, and it generally was a popular military aircraft. Served in the US military for disposal, and spent time with a number of Canadian operators in civilian terms, in fact working mainly survey companies. Capital Air Surveys at Pembroke were one of her owners. But unfortunately, on a mission to Europe, the company went bust and 3 Beech 18s were left lying around. Eventually, Graham Warner at the British Aerial Museum had been looking for a Beech 18 to act as a support for the Blenheim, and also as a pilot trainer for the unique Blenheim. Heard about the aircraft and wanted to so in the end, I think he ended up with 2 of them, and they came to ducks with the registered BKG or BKG. Since then, she's undergone 2 major rebuilds and is now owned and operated by Nick Houghton, who is flying her today. Nick's a flying farmer from Langham in Rutland, gained a PPL back in 1980. He is flying the Beech 18 for the last 3 seasons and bases the aeroplane around Leicester Airport, where it's often on a private strip. Air Displays with an S, and at Little Gransden, because we'd love to see those pictures on Twitter. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful pair of Spartan Executives, the only 2 of this particular mark outside of the USA. Interesting, I believe there were only 34 of them originally manufactured, 19 of them are still in service. These are the only 2 still in the system. Time as the rocket. Flying the silver aeroplane is Bob Buchon, a local pilot. Bob's been a lifetime professional pilot. We want everything from DH.88 Aztecs to the Boeing 767 along with Airbus. He spent 26 years with Bob flying 737. Another local lad. Ian's founder and managing director of Jet Exchange, a provider of worldwide personal aircraft management, position and charter in the worldwide AOC. Ian started flying back in 1990 while studying aircraft engineering in Bristol. He admits to being very fortunate in flying a very large variety of aircraft types in various capacities. He He's more than 10,000 hours of flight experience with type ratings on the Falcon 50 and 900, the Phenom 300 and Citation 525, and the Pilatus PC-12. Previously at Little Gransden, he's displayed the Spartan Executives as well as a Yak-18T, Jet Provost, and the Pilatus PC-12. And he's also a CAA licensed engineer. Right, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of real treats coming up. A P-47 and the Mesh 509 Buchon. It's removed in storage to start the 1968 production of the Battle of Britain. After completion of filming, the aircraft was shipped to Texas where it remained in storage until 2015. That's a long time. In 2017, the aircraft was shipped to the UK by Air Leasing Limited and underwent a major restoration, was completed in 2018, and it now has a full CAA permit to fly on the UK register. The aircraft now flies as one of the pilot of the Knight's Cross. Sadly, he died on the 4th of April 2014, and this aeroplane commemorates his achievements. Today it's being flown by Buchon, probably very well-known display pilot and air race pilot. Paul obtained a licence back at 18, ended up working with Air Cymru at Welsh Charter Airline flying the Boeing 737. However, he now works as a captain of Boeing 747 for British Airways. He started aerobatics in '86, flying an unlimited pits, went on to fly the Yak-18 300, and then the Spartan Executive. He's flown somewhere close to 700 displays, and a variety of warbirds that include a variety of Spitfires, Hurricane, P-40, Wildcat, Hellcat, Bearcat, P-47, P-63 King Cobra, P-51D Mustang, and AP-4 Stearman. And if that wasn't enough, he joined the Red Bull Air Racing in the World Championships since they started in 2013 until 2015, achieving an unsurpassed record of 46 podium finishes and a 65. Gentlemen, public service notice, one of the helicopters is waiting to depart. At the moment he can't depart because some of you, the paranoid people, left your October the same year and arrived at the fighter collection Duxford on the 22nd of January 1986. Following a number of years on the UK and European airshow circuit, it was sold to Clare Aviation and shipped back to the USA in 2007. However, it returned to the UK in 2018 and is operated by Fighter Aviation Engineering Limited from Sewell in the colours of Nelly. Incidentally, Nelly was an aircraft that served in its original colours right back in 1945. So this aeroplane has gone full circle.